Bluff is New Zealand's southernmost town. It is a place which feels the force of the sea, but also reaps its rewards. Today the town surrounds a harbour full of fishing boats. The sea drew Māori here, and in the early 1800s Europeans came to hunt whales. The town was established as Campbelltown, but since the locals knew it as Bluff, that was the name that eventually became official. Today, harvesting the delicacies of the sea gives the place its character. There are more fish and shellfish landed in Bluff than at any other New Zealand port. Between Bluff and Stewart Island is Fovo Strait, a stormy stretch of water in which fish and shellfish flourish. Bluff is most famous for oysters. Known in New Zealand as bluff oysters, dredge oysters, or by the Māori name of tio, this delicacy is actually the Chilean oyster. It has a flat upper shell and a cupped lower shell, and in between is the succulent food famous throughout the country. The oyster usually lives for about 8 years in extensive beds, about 35 metres below the surface. It has a most unusual sex life. It is sometimes a hermaphrodite, producing both eggs and sperm at the same time. At other times, it is distinctly male or female. Fovo Strait oysters have been harvested since 1863, and although the beds have been on occasion struck by disease, they are still productive after almost 150 years of harvesting. When the oyster season begins in February, restaurants throughout New Zealand clamour for the first pottles. Every May, Bluff holds an oyster festival where the competition is fierce as to who can open the most oysters. The Bluff fishing fleet also bring in other delicacies. Crayfish are found around the rocky coasts, and the waters of Stewart Island and Fovo Strait are home to blue cod. 2/3 of the nation's blue cod come from here. Blue cod is a sweet, firm, fleshy fish, and popular with New Zealanders. Bluff also processes green-lipped mussels and pāua, a native abalone, which is often minced up into delicious patties. A delicacy particularly popular with Māori is muttonbird. Muttonbirds are actually sooty shearwaters, known to Māori as Tītī. They are a small fluffy bird with brown feathers and are the most numerous of all New Zealand seabirds. Every November, the birds dig a burrow and lay a single egg. The next year, during April and May, South Island Māori set off from Bluff and head towards 36 islands off the southern coast of Stewart Island to gather the shearwater chicks. This is known as muttonbirding. Only Māori with hereditary rights have permission to take part in the harvest. In the first part of the harvest, in early April, muttonbirders work during daylight and reach into the burrows to catch the chicks. In the later part, from mid-April to the end of May, the birders work at night by torchlight and capture the chicks as they emerge from their burrows. Māori used to preserve the birds in their own fat and pack them into a large bag made of a type of seaweed called bull kelp. Muttonbirds could be preserved that way for many months. Today muttonbirds are often salted and then carried to Bluff. It is said that muttonbirds taste remarkably like sheep meat, hence the name.